I have owned every car to ever release in GTA Online. From trucks to hypercars to regular traffic, I've had them all. Over time, naturally, I've developed some favorites that I find myself driving more often than others, so I have gotten down to the top 15. It was very difficult, but we're here. These are cars I really like and would recommend to you as well. Thank you to my channel members. Please subscribe and become a follower. See what I did there? And let's dive in. First off, we have the Innis LG Retro Custom, available for $904,000 before mods and roughly $1.4 million after mods. The LG Retro Custom is a solid car for anyone wanting that JDM look while maintaining decent performance as well, although it has definitely been outclassed naturally as time has gone on. There are a wide variety of mods for this car, as it is a Benny's car after all, and they are all quite expensive, so be willing to pay up if you want to fully customize this car. Even then, it's not nearly as expensive as some other cars have become now. $1.4 million is very reasonable to spend on a great car with lots of mods. Considering it also came from a time when Rockstar was a bit less bold with using real-life car designs, it also looks fairly realistic. There aren't any real noticeable differences between this and the R32 Skyline, which I think is pretty cool. But my favorite feature of this car would have to be the exhaust. It sounds pretty damn good, but it doesn't necessarily sound like an R32 in real life, but I still appreciate it nonetheless. Take a listen. Next up, we have the Benefactor Vorso hammer, available for $1,790,000 before mods and roughly $2.1 million after mods. The Vorso hammer is a car with a very long name, but it is also a great saloon. I really love how realistic it looks, and it comes down to the littlest details. There is an option to add a hood ornament and a gold ornament at that. It also comes stock with wheels that pretty closely resemble some AMG monoblock wheels, which is very nice. I believe they come stock in black as well. It just simply looks great. I believe less is more with this car. All you need is a really nice color with some power mods and not too much else for it to look quite nice. It's pretty reasonably priced for modern GTA Online standards, and like I alluded to earlier, there are plenty of mods for you to customize it. The interior is also worth mentioning because it doesn't look too bad. It has some wood on certain panels and overall looks okay, but not great. Certainly room to improve on in GTA 6, where this car is sure to be. The sound unfortunately isn't very great, but I would still recommend this car to just about anyone. Next up, we have the Vapid Sandking, available for $45,000 before mods, or free if you can find it, and roughly $200,000 after mods. Now usually over time, cars fall out of favor because newer ones are added with better performance, but the Sandking has remained the dominant truck to take off-roading. Sure, trucks like the Draugr are cool, but the Draugr doesn't nearly have as much ground clearance as the Sandking. It's just such a fun truck to take off-roading that requires some finesse to do it as well. You can't just mash the gas and hope to make it on the trail. You have to be careful about your throttle use and leverage the ground clearance to your favor. The suspension is also very nicely designed. You can really see everything flex and bend, which is really neat, especially when you're going over a rock and you see the whole body move. The Sandking is just an eternal truck. I'll honestly be sad if it doesn't make an appearance in GTA 6 because of all the nostalgia I have associated with it, not to mention all of its perks, and it's absolutely free if you find it on the street, which shouldn't be too hard. I mean, free is a pretty good price. If you don't have a Sandking in your garage, you absolutely need one ASAP. Next up, we have the Progen T20, available for $2,200,000 before mods and roughly $2.4 million after mods. The T20 is part of a bygone age of racing in GTA Online. I mean, when you were doing races at the time Ill-Gotten Gains 2 was added, which is the DLC this car came from, you saw at least a few of these every time on the track, and for good reason. The T20 is still a decent car in terms of performance today, but it has definitely fallen behind. It also doesn't really have any mods, but it doesn't need any because it would just mess up the clean look of the car. The interior is also decent. It's actually not bad, but I feel like it shouldn't be in this car. It would be more fitting for maybe the Sugoi or the Chavos V6 because it looks realistic, but it shouldn't be in a hypercar like the T20. This is certainly a car that I appreciate because I distinctly remember when this car was at the top. If you're new to GTA Online or started playing a couple years ago, you probably don't care for the T20, which is fine, but I love it for what it is. It also sounds pretty good. Some may say it sounds like a vacuum, but I think it sounds like a pretty good vacuum, and you may be talking about some fancy vacuums because, well, you judge for yourself. Next up, we have the Nightshark, available for $1,245,000 before mods and roughly $1.6 million after mods. Everybody needs the Nightshark. If this list was made 10 years ago, I would have said the Insurgent in place of the Nightshark, but the Nightshark does everything the Insurgent does but better. It's not too expensive either, and you get a ton of protection, just not from bullets. Well, you could actually get body panels that cover the windows, but then you can't throw out sticky bombs, so that's a trade-off I would not recommend taking. Whenever I'm just trying to do stuff in a lobby, buy supplies, sell goods, whatever, without being bothered by the occasional oppressor or whatever, I call the Nightshark because it gives me plenty of reaction time to anything that comes my way, so I could either deal with the threat or teleport to my apartment or something, and then get a message from the griefer telling me how I'm such a coward. It's a purely functional vehicle to get around the map, and while it's not fun to drive and it doesn't sound good or anything at all really, it's a great truck I drive whenever I want to feel protected. Next up, we have the Ubermacht Rebla GTS, available for 1,175,000 before mods and roughly 1.5 million after mods. Whenever I want to drive an SUV, chances are I'm choosing the Rebla. It's based off the BMW X5 and it looks pretty similar to it. It handles quite well for an SUV and it looks damn good too. There are also quite a bit of mods for it, so if you want a more OEM plus sort of build, you can do that. If you want to go a bit more extreme, you can do that as well. It's very reasonably priced and it has a good amount of performance as well. The speed certainly isn't best in class, but where the Rebla thrives is in the handling department. It handles very smooth and it's very easy to predict and correct. It's just a really fun SUV to drive. Of course, it being an SUV, it can fit 4 people, which makes it a good car to use for heists or whatever, because maybe you're doing the heist with people that don't have too many cars, or if they do, they're slow cars. The interior is just okay for the most part, and the sound isn't too great either, but that's forgivable. If this had HSW, it would be my top 5 cars in GTA Online, but unfortunately it doesn't, but it is still a great car that I highly recommend buying. Next up, we have the Karin Sultan RS Classic, available for 1,789,000 or the trade price of $1,341,750 before mods and roughly 1.65 million after mods. The Sultan RS Classic is just such a fun car to drive. It's incredibly stable even at high speeds, and it of course is also quite good off-road. Whenever I do a race that has a dirt portion, this car is usually at the top of the list I would choose. It's based on the Subaru WRX STI 22B and it looks almost identical to that. Every time I drive a Subaru based car, I remember how much it sucks that we don't have gold wheels in the game as well. I would love to complete the look of this car with some gold wheels, but 12 years later after launch, Rockstar, please. Because it is a tuner car, you can also lower it in the interaction menu, which is pretty cool, although I wouldn't recommend driving it lowered like that because it messes with the handling quite a bit and turns a great handling car into not a great handling car. There are also a lot of mods for this car, which is always nice. It's not that expensive with the trade price, and if you want a solid rally car that is also good for the street, this should be a solid choice. It's also worth noting that this does do pretty good in tuner races as well, but I don't think anyone really plays those anymore, so it's not a huge deal. Next up, we have the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire, available for 745,000 before mods and roughly $1.1 million after mods. Sometimes I hop on GTA Online and I tell myself I just want to drive around and have fun, and most of the time I will choose the Gauntlet Hellfire. It's a lot of fun to drive around the city. It's not the fastest nor the best handling. Matter of fact, it's quite slidey around corners, but it's fun to just swing around corners. It's obviously based on the Dodge Challenger and it looks nearly identical. So much so I used it for my thumbnail on why GTA Online cars look so realistic. Check that video out if you haven't seen it already. The headlights and taillights could be a bit more realistic, but I don't think it really looks bad with the creative liberties that Rockstar took, so it's fine. It's very reasonably priced as well, which is always nice. It is also confirmed to be in GTA 6 as it was in a trailer, so we will see this car again. I can't wait to drive this around Vice City, taking in the view of the blinding lights and booty. And of course it sounds fantastic. It kind of sounds like it has asthma to be honest, but take a listen. Next up, we have the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, available for 2,845,000 before mods and roughly 3.4 million after mods. The Turismo Omaggio is such a great handling car. It set the standard for what a good handling car is in GTA Online. The Emerus is usually mentioned among the best handling cars, but the Omaggio is simply better. The Omaggio has more downforce, which makes it really glued to the road. I have such confidence in this car while driving through corners at high speeds, and it's very easy to handle. Chances are, if you crash or manage to spin out in a corner in the Omaggio, it's usually your fault. It's based on various Ferraris, but I believe it's primarily based on the 488, at least that's what I see the most. It looks really good and it also has a decent interior, although it is worth mentioning that this interior is not unique to this car. There are plenty of mods for you to choose from as well, so if you want a more track-oriented build, you can do that, but I personally like the OEM Plus look on this car. I kind of gave it like a track package. If I were to own one, this is how I'd want it to look. It's such a great car, but it is also a lot of money. It also lacks in the speed department. It's quite slow. It tops out at like 120 flat. This thing is primarily for the twisties. In a straight line, you'll get beat by a lot of other cars, but almost none match the handling of the Omaggio, and it just simply looks amazing as well, which is always nice. Next up, we have the Karin S95, available for 1,995,000 before mods and roughly $3.1 million after mods. I'll talk about that in a second. The S95 is such an underrated car in my opinion. It does come at a hefty price due to having HSW, which makes the car. If you don't have HSW, I honestly wouldn't recommend it. It handles quite well for a little car like this, but it isn't exactly planted. When going at high speeds and turning the car, it kind of just just wants to do whatever it wants to, but that's kind of the fun. It's based on the FRS 86 and BRZ, with the rear end being based on the prior generation cars and the front being from the newer models, which makes for a pretty cool hybrid look. There are a lot of mods for it, but maybe it just comes down to taste, but a lot of them honestly look horrendous in my opinion. There are only a couple of good spoiler options, the rest kind of look strange. The bumpers all look very aftermarket, which isn't my preferred look on a car. But even in mostly stock form, it looks pretty good and pretty close to its real life counterparts. If you want a solid sports car that's fun to drive around and have the money for it, the S95 is exactly that. You can't go wrong, and it's also cool to see people modify these and any enthusiast cars to match their own in real life. Next up, we have the Ubermacht Sentinel GTS, available for $1,629,000 before mods and roughly $2.2 million after mods. The Sentinel GTS is just such a cool sports sedan. It's based on the G80 M3, which looks pretty good, and it looks pretty good here. The grille is really the only discernible difference between this and the real thing, but it doesn't even look bad, so I don't mind it. And if you also want to kind of blend that in, you could go for a darker color like black or dark gray, so it kind of blends the grille more into the design. The performance across the board isn't anything special, but it handles decently and it has decent power, which is all I really want in a car. It's also cool that it's a 4-door as well, so if I want to bring friends with me, they can tag along. It has a decent amount of mods that mostly look really good as well, so that's available if you want it. The interior is pretty nice too. I wouldn't be mad if the interior made its way to GTA 6 because it looks fairly detailed. It's very reasonably priced also, even with the mods, because it doesn't have HSW. If it did, this thing would probably be like 4 mil. It's just a sharp looking car that I love to drive. I got mine in this color that is supposed to be Isle of Man green, and I think it matches quite well, of course, with the bronze wheels also. If I were to have one, it would look exactly like this, but I'd like a sunroof in mine. Overall, this car is just fantastic, not in terms of performance, but as an all-around good car. It's fun to drive around, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Next up, we got the OG, the Pegassi Zentorno, available for $725,000 before mods and roughly $1 million after mods. The Zentorno is here out of sheer respect. It made its way to the top 5 because I remember this car being brand new and watching Expert Thief customize his to look gold when I couldn't afford the Zentorno yet, and it was just such a time to be alive. Like the T20, this car is more symbolic of an era than a good performance car in today's GTA Online. A newer player wouldn't appreciate the Zentorno because they don't know the history that it has. This was the car to have at the time because it did it all. It was fast, it handled well, and the rear was even bulletproof, which made it even better. Some time ago, Rockstar also added more mods to it for some reason, but hey, I'm not complaining. It has a good amount of spoilers that all look pretty good, to be honest, and in just about every color it also looks pretty good. It's honestly hard to make this car look bad. The interior is very old, of course, but that's excusable. I really hope this car is in GTA 6 because of its nostalgia. If you see someone driving this in GTA 6, you just know that they know ball because it will probably be heavily outclassed, but it's just a legend. It's very cheap as well. I mean, 700 grand is just nothing in today's GTA Online. A 9th gen Honda Accord literally costs more than this, so that says it all. If you don't have one yet, you need to get one because it's a living legend among us. Next up, we have the Invetero Coquette D10, available for $1,730,000 before mods and roughly $2.2 million after mods. The Coquette D10 has quickly become my top 3 favorite cars to drive because of how balanced it is. It's not the fastest car nor the best handling, but it's pretty good in both aspects, and the price is also very fair for what you're getting. It's based off the C6 Corvette, which is just a nice looking car, probably my top 2 Corvette designs out of all of them, just behind the C8. It's very faithful to the real design, with one exception that kind of pisses me off. The roof is plastic, and I really wish there was an option to make it body colored because it would look so much better in my opinion. It's less noticeable on a dark color like gray or black, but if you got a Corvette, you're making it a cool color, not the boring black, white, or gray. Aside from that, it's a solid car that I love to drive around with plenty of mods to make your own, and most are pretty good looking besides some of the grille options that make it look like a classic car from the 60s or something. I would not recommend those. The engine is not too detailed, definitely a reused asset from 2013, and the interior also isn't the best, but it's not too bad, I guess. It's overall a very balanced car that looks sharp and is pretty cheap for modern GTA Online standards, and who doesn't love a nice C6 Corvette? Next up, we have the Declasse Vigero ZX, available for $1,947,000 before mods and roughly $3.2 million after mods. The Vigero ZX is a perfect example of Rockstar being straight up savages with car designs in GTA Online. This thing looks just like the Camaro, and unfortunately it took the headlight design from the facelifted one, which I personally don't like. It kind of looks like the car is upset or crying. I much prefer the old one. Due to it having having HSW, it of course is really fast. You could go from coast to coast in this car in like 3 minutes easily from the docks to Puerto Bay. It kind of does suck that it doesn't handle that well though, because the Camaro is known to be a decent handler in real life, but that don't even really bother me, so it's fine. It also does suck that the taillights are very bright and exposed. I don't know how well this comes across on video, but they just look too bright for my eyes, and I have 20/20 vision, so it's not me, it's the game. It also has a lot of mods available, and they all look pretty good for the most part. Some of the grill options are pretty bad, but that's fine. The interior is also decent, but what's really cool is the engine. It looks quite detailed, and I hope that this is what we can expect from cars in GTA 6, because this just looks solid. It doesn't sound particularly great though. I believe they used the audio file from 2013, which does suck. It kind of sounds like the Ruiner, which isn't a great sounding car. Even with all of the cons the Vigero ZX has, it usually is my go-to choice when driving around in GTA Online, but there is one that beats them all every time. At number 1, we have the Bravado Banshee GTS, available for $1,989,500 before mods and roughly $3.3 million after mods. As soon as I drove the Banshee GTS, I immediately knew it would be my favorite car to ever be added to GTA Online. It's based off the Dodge Viper, the last one that went out of production, and it looks pretty close to that. The front design could be better, but it doesn't look bad. It has a good amount of tasteful mods, and it comes stock with the famous Viper wing, but I chose the more subtle lip spoiler, which I think looks pretty good. The engine is also very nice. It's just massive, just like the real thing. Don't make that weird, by the way, man. Come on. But let's get to the best part of the Banshee GTS. It handles really well, not the best, but not far from it, but the speed is just pure insanity. This thing will easily hit 180 with no problem whatsoever on the freeway, and it is incredibly stable at that speed, so if a car cuts you off or something, you'll easily be able to manage around it. I just don't see a car that could be added to GTA Online before GTA 6 comes out that could possibly be better than this. It's really realistic looking, it has fantastic performance and a lot of mods. The car just has it all, and I really enjoy driving it all around. It also looks good in every color. One con is that it doesn't have a lot of stripe options like the real life Viper in real life. I don't know why I said real life twice there. No, 3 times. If it had more stripes, that would be cool because you can kind of mix and match the stripe options, but that's fine. This is the car you buy when you've done it all in GTA Online. This is it. I truly believe this is the best a car will ever get, and I could be wrong in the future, but I don't think I will. Even then, the Banshee GTS will remain my favorite car to ever be added, and shout out to my channel member Anawack who got his name on the license plate of this car. The sheer variety of cars GTA Online has to offer is truly a sight to behold. If you watch my video about GTA Online cars and how they have become more realistic over the years, you know just how close these cars are to the real life counterparts, and that makes for a wide variety of cars that is truly expansive. These are my favorite 15, but you most definitely have a different list because of the nature of personal taste and whatnot, but I appreciate you watching nonetheless, and let me know what your favorite 15 are if you disagree with any of mine. And thank you to my channel members, which for the month of August are as follows. Thank you to Byron, Anawack, KOIAER, Karso, DuelingDiego, Nekoshi, Agaro, PAARTHUR, Agent, and Joshua. I greatly appreciate you. I appreciate you all. Please have a great day or night or evening. I'll see you all soon, and goodbye. It's worth noting that this does... It's also worth noting that this does do pretty... Next up, we have the Benefactor... Next up, we have the Benefactor... Next up, we have the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, available for $2 million. Next up, we have the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, available for $2 million. Next up, we have the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, available for $2 million. My God! Next up, we have the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, available. Next up, we have the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, available. Oh my fucking! Hey, hey, look, hey, look, hey, look. You better subscribe, because if you do not, I might cry. You better subscribe, I ran up the bands in GTA 5. You better subscribe, because if you do not, you might cry. You better subscribe, because if you don't, I might die. You better subscribe, I'm about to go crazy on the beat. You better subscribe, hey, wait for the beat to drop, ooh, you better subscribe, hey, you better subscribe, I'm out of breath. You better subscribe,